when you meet someone in person, sometimes it's different than what you expect, virtually or just on the phone. So how was your perception of Brother Jewel different than when we actually met him in person?
So obviously the persona, I believe personally, I believe he's a pretty mysterious figure. Obviously you see him behind the scenes and stuff like that, but nobody really heard much from him himself, except through, alhamdulillah, you guys had an extremely viral podcast, which Allah Mubarak, congratulations to you guys, over 2 million views. So shout out to you guys, mashallah, you did a fantastic job. Alhamdulillah, like kind of showing a different side of him to the public. So obviously, when I met him through you guys, alhamdulillah, like I saw a very different side of him. Obviously, I didn't know much about him at all. I just saw him in the background in the videos, with Andrew Tate and so on and so forth. But alhamdulillah, the brother is an honestly amazing, amazing brother. He's very genuine. He's very down to earth. And he's honestly like a great guy, mashallah. He's honestly a great guy. And it was a great pleasure and a great honor to meet him and to spend so much time with him as well, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Allah Mubarak. Yeah, we had a very similar experience too. It's almost like, they're low key. Everyone usually knows about them through being in the background or behind the scenes with Tate. And, just in the podcast too, getting to know him as a person, as a brother in Islam, so much more on, layering back the onion peel, than what we thought it would be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, usually when you meet people in real life, their online persona is typically a lot better than what you meet in real life, right? But alhamdulillah, with him, it was actually, I enjoyed his persona in real life than, the online persona as well. Just like, usually when you meet people that are like, I guess famous figures or popular figures, and then you meet them, sometimes you end up being disappointed. I think there's a saying that never meet, somebody that you've been looking up to your whole life, because most likely you'll end up being disappointed when you meet them, But alhamdulillah, with him, it wasn't the case. I actually really enjoyed spending time with him. And I feel like the brother has a lot to say and a lot to share with the world as well. So I'm excited, alhamdulillah. He also started his YouTube channel as well, which I'm very excited for. And yeah, man, more success to him. And may Allah, continue to give him knowledge and more power to do what needs to be done, inshallah.
Oh man, I mean, bro. I mean, what a wonderful dua. And I think it makes us more excited now to meet other people in the circle, like Tristan and Andrew Tate, inshallah, in the future.
Absolutely, why not?
It's almost like Allah's kind of setting everything up so that we can get into, knowing all of them in depth and just seeing the stark contrast between what the media will portray them as versus how they actually are in person, bro. Because Sartorial Shooter, Tate, you already know how the media, the Matrix is trying to portray them to be. But when we actually got to know them in person, it's so different, bro. It's so different. And it's a shame that a lot of people, especially those that are falling for like propaganda, they won't actually get to know them for who they really are.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy that you say that, man, because there used to be this guy I used to watch on YouTube. His name was Elliot Holtz. Have you ever heard of this guy?
I heard about that guy, yeah.
Yeah, man, I had this like certain perception of him because I used to watch him way back in the day. And then when we finally met him on a podcast, it was just very it was disappointing to say the least. May Allah guide him, may Allah bless him, but it was very disappointing to say the least. It wasn't up to my perception, which is crazy that you said that. And it leads me to the questions, like, did you expect Shooter to be like this? Because, we only spoke with him so much when we were there. We were with him for less than 8 hours, So that's my question, bro. Did you expect that? Did you expect him to be the way that he is offset?
So, well, the thing is, obviously I met him through you guys, right? You guys knew more about him and so on and so forth. I didn't even know about his Instagram, page or anything like that. So I was completely blind going in there. You know what I mean? I just came in as you guys' bodyguard. You already know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, alhamdulillah, so yeah, I was completely blind going in. But alhamdulillah, just, spending time with the brother, I have a very good idea of how to read people. As you guys know, I've been a bodyguard for many years for the most elite A-list celebrities, in the area. So alhamdulillah, I have a really good perception when it comes to meeting people and kind of deciding, if they're good or bad vibes. Alhamdulillah, throughout my meeting with him, he was all good vibes, man, all good vibes. So it was a great pleasure. It was a great pleasure, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I like the halal sneako setup, bro, Rami.
Yeah, bro, my camera just is forcing me into this, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
But it looks pretty cool. And also on
it looks amazing. Oh
yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
Barakallah.
It's approved. It's Warner approved. Warner approved.
You need to get a stamp, bro. You need to get a stamp. Warner approved. Yeah, but yeah, I heard bits here and there about what you were saying, and yeah, honestly, I had the same experience, alhamdulillah. It's weird. It's like there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he mentioned, I'm gonna paraphrase a bit, but when you meet somebody and you really get along with them well, you don't know why. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that in the world of the souls, it was like you're close to that person.
The barzakh.
Barzakh, yeah. In the world of the souls, the barzakh, you could have been close to that person. And same if you don't get along with someone, you could have been, kind of, yeah, you could have disliked that person, had beef with them in that world instead. And I'm not saying, any of us knew each other beforehand, but when we got there,
but you're not saying we didn't.
Yeah, but I'm not saying we didn't. But when we got there, he was such a hospitable guy. We pulled up. And just from the second we walked up, he was so welcoming, alhamdulillah. And I think that's a part of him, or a part of the Tate brothers in that whole group that people don't really see. And I think that's something that people only see when they actually go and they hang out with them. Like that person from Vice, Matt or whatever his name was, apparently he had a really good time. And then all of a sudden he comes out with the hippies against them. There's another guy, I think his name is something Tilbury, Mike Tilbury, something like that. He's a TikTok guy. And I think he was kind of not beefing with Andrew Tate, but going back and forth a little bit with him. And then he met with him on a podcast, and it came out he was very positive afterwards towards Andrew Tate.
And also, talking about the brothers, it was very interesting because when we went into their house, they were extremely hospitable. Obviously, these are like mannerisms that typically Muslims have. Muslims are extremely hospitable people. If you ever visit a Muslim's home, right? Then obviously you're going to be greeted very well. For us, it's an extreme honor to have a guest within the home, right? There's a saying that if you haven't had a guest in a while, that's actually not a good thing. So when you do have a guest enter into your home, it's a very pleasant and it's a very blessed experience. And, spending time with Brother Jewel, you could see that hospitality aspect, which, I haven't necessarily experienced from many non-Muslims. But alhamdulillah, obviously the brother is Muslim. He reverted a couple of months ago. But obviously as a fresh Muslim, I didn't expect him to be so hospitable. But he was such a gentleman. He was so hospitable. Like, alhamdulillah, like Allah Mubarak,
Mubarak, bro. It's Brother Jewel. Listen, he took us into his own home like family. I think the 2 or 3 things we've eaten that day, it was always red meat and vegetables, And it was just a vibe, bro, just off camera and on camera, But speaking about the brokies you're talking about,